Up next on End of the Day Beer Review, we're going to be looking at Grateful Dead Juicy Pale Ale, and this is by Dogfish Head Craft Brewery, and it's coming in at 5.3% ABV. Check it out. Three, two, one. Hi everybody, it's Rich and welcome to End of the Day Beer Review. If you're new here, welcome. We are going back to the two beer videos a week format at this point. Sorry, in my regular life, I am a school teacher, and as we get to the end of the school year, finals, all that kind of stuff like that, I just could not do the two episodes a week. But school is coming to an end, and I will have a little bit more time. Now, today, we will be looking at Grateful Dead Juicy Pale Ale, and this is by Dogfish Head Craft Brewery. And it says a pale ale brewed with Kernza and granola. Now, on the back of it, it also says, and actually, where is my towel? Actually, I'll have to just get a paper towel so I can wipe it off and read it. So it says right here, the collaboration Juicy Pale Ale took us to an exploration of goodness, starting with a generous dose of Kernza grains and granola for a beer bursting with good karma, enjoying notes of bright citrus and tropical refreshment. We brew our culinary-inspired beers using real ingredients. Every beer has a story rooted in adventurous flavors, a creative brewing process, and exploring the goodness of our collaboration with the Grateful Dead. Now, I think I've said this on the channel before. I'm an enormous Deadhead. Used to follow them back in the day. Saw the Grateful Dead before any of them had passed away. So, you know, before August of 1995. And recently had the great pleasure of taking my daughter to see Dead and Company at the Sphere in Las Vegas. And was it the same as seeing the Grateful Dead? No. But was it just a nostalgia sandwich? Absolutely it was, and it was awesome. So, you know, now I've been sort of excited to try this beer since I saw the review on another beer tuber's channel, and I just want to give him credit for that. So I'm gonna just make sure that I get the right name for his channel, because it's a really good channel, and I like it a lot. And he has some really interesting beers on there. And he also doesn't know I'm doing a shout out here, but his channel is Ginger Yeti Road Beer. If you get a chance to check out his channel, it's really worthwhile. But he had seen this and he had done a review of it, and it sounded interesting. And quite honestly, I'm normally not this way, but if you brand it according to the Grateful Dead, I'll generally check it out a little bit. Now, the problem is I'm not an IPA type of person, so, you know, this has all sorts of potential disappointment, you know, potentially within this can. So, especially considering it's named after what is easily my favorite band, and because I know my cousin is not watching this, although he's been on the channel once or twice, I will say, in my opinion, the single most influential band, American rock band of all time. You know, naming a beer after that, that's sort of difficult. And like I said, I am a die-hard fan, so, you know, I'm hoping that this is going to be awesome. Now, it pours a very, very light yellow. In fact, almost reminds me of, what was it that we had, a Hefeweizen a couple weeks ago, that sort of poured like this. So very light, you know, almost a pineapple juice color, which I say that a lot for the IPAs. Maybe a finger and a half of a very white head. Poured quite nicely. I am using the IPA glass. Let's give it the nose. I'm getting a lot of citrus. What's nice is I'm getting a lot of orange as opposed to a lot of grapefruit. Grapefruit is normally not what I'm into, and it seems to be what IPAs specialize in. Now, this one I could not find anywhere around me. Now, I happen to be out in Suffolk County, which is further out east on Long Island from where I live, and they have a Wegmans, and Wegmans had a six-pack. So I was sort of excited to try that out, because if it is good, I'd like to be able to get more of it. I did buy the whole six-pack, and I think the six-pack was about $16.99. It wasn't super expensive. And it's funny, you know, I'm reading Dogfish Head craft brewery. I don't even think of them as a craft brewery anymore. They just seem so mainstream at this point that, you know, like I think the collaboration is pretty cool. So yeah, a lot of citrus. It's gonna sound crazy, but I'm also getting like a pineapple banana. Yeah, a little bit of banana there too, which is sort of interesting. All right, let's give it a taste. Wow. So that is very, very drinkable. There's none of the bitterness that I normally associate with an IPA. None of that sharpness on the back end. There's a very muted sort of tropical blend. So you're getting a lot of orange, a good amount of pineapple. I'm also getting just a hint as you swallow and sort of the you know, the carbonation sort of comes up into your sinuses. I'm getting a hint of banana. So it's like this nice tropical medley that's coming off of it, but it's not sweet. It is very, you know, they say it's juicy. It is. It's almost like drinking almost like a thick pineapple juice. But with other flavors mixed in. You know, I guess the best way I could put it is like, I was in Mexico a month or so ago, and they had this pineapple smoothie that they gave, which was like heavy pineapple juice. You could tell there was like one slightly underripe banana in it, maybe some oranges and some other stuff in there. That's sort of the vagary that I'm getting here when it comes to the sort of tropical bouquet that this has. It almost drinks like an unsweetened juice. Now there is a little bit of bitterness now that I'm getting on the back end. But I mean, this is not hopped to death. This is not, you know, like hitting all of my I hate IPA triggers. It's actually very drinkable. Now, I want to make this clear. I'm not an IPA person, I'm a stout guy. So when I say it's very drinkable, that means it appeals to me as a stout drinker. So for a regular IPA person, somebody who's expecting a little bit more of that sharpness, a little bit more of that bitterness on the back end, a little bit more of the hoppiness to it, you might find this a little wanting when it comes to that particular profile. I find it very approachable because all of those things that I don't really care for, excuse me, in an IPA, they're sort of muted here, especially that back end bitterness. So I'm gonna say this right now, like, will I drink this whole 6-pack? I probably will drink the entire 6-pack because it's really quite good. But if you're a real IPA person, you might want to take my advice on this one, you know, or my recommendation on this one with a grain of salt, because normally I'm not an IPA person. You know, and that being said, I think what I like about this is that it's almost like an IPA that's been dialed back to make it a little bit more palatable to those of us who try, you know, who aren't die-hard hoppy IPA people. So, you know, would I get it again? I actually would. I'd pick up another 6 of this if I saw it. It'd be good to give to people. I really wish Kevin were here right now because he is an IPA person and I'd love to see what he has to say about this. Maybe I'll add an addendum to this. I don't know. Anyway, folks, I hope you have enjoyed this review. I'm going to sit back and enjoy this very, very approachable, very drinkable IPA that is also named after, you know, what I think is one of the best bands out there. You know, I have to say I do recommend it. But remember, I'm a stout guy, not an IPA guy. Anyway, folks, I hope you've enjoyed the review. If you have, hit that like button. Please share the video, maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Throw a comment down below. I would love to hear anybody's opinion of this beer other than my own. So, you know, throw some comments down below. And again, if you do get a chance, it was Ginger Yeti Road Beer. And I would definitely check out the channel if you're into the whole beer tube thing. Anyway, folks, I will see you next time on End of Day Beer Review. Cheers.